Welcome to This Explainer, where we're diving deep into the everyday hair care products that might secretly be causing your hair woes. Look, we've all been there, right? You notice a few too many strands in the shower drain or clumped up in your hairbrush, and you immediately spiral into panic mode. But before you start blaming your genetics or your stressful job, we really need to take a closer look at something much more mundane.
So, let's kick off this investigation with a pretty massive question. Could your daily shampoo actually be making your hair fall worse? Because while we automatically point the finger at our DNA or our stress levels, the real suspect might literally be sitting on the shelf in your shower right now. We put so much trust in these bottles to clean and nourish our hair, but what if the very formulas we rely on are actually working against us?
All right, let's get into Section 1, the hidden hair care culprits. We're looking beyond genetics and stress. It is a huge misconception that hair fall is only genetic. Seriously, people with absolutely zero family history of hair thinning can still experience intense, sudden shedding. Why? Well, modern lifestyles constantly expose our hair to a total barrage of environmental stressors. We're talking about microscopic air pollution particles that deposit themselves right onto your scalp, causing oxidative stress. Add to that frequent heat styling that totally strips your hair's protective layer, harsh chemical treatments, and this suffocating product buildup from things like dry shampoos that never properly wash away. Honestly, it's just a lot for your scalp to handle. And speaking of things we get wrong, we've basically been conditioned to think that a massive mountain of bubbles on our head means our shampoo is doing a fantastic job. But more foam absolutely does not mean better results. In fact, that rich, satisfying lather, it often just means harsh ingredients are aggressively stripping your natural moisture, which completely destroys your scalp's delicate balance. Moving right along to Section 2, hair shedding versus hair breakage. It is time we diagnose the real problem.
Now, this is absolutely crucial to understand, because not all hair loss is the same. Natural shedding happens when a hair falls completely from the root. You'll usually see a tiny white bulb at the end of it. That's just a totally normal part of the hair growth cycle. Breakage, on the other hand, is when weakened, brittle hair fibers simply snap right off mid-shaft. These broken strands often masquerade as normal hair fall, but don't be fooled. They are a massive red flag that your hair has been severely compromised by damage and dryness.
Which brings us to Section 3, warning signs from your scalp. Is your shampoo actually failing you? Your body is incredibly smart, and your scalp will absolutely warn you if a product is causing harm. You've got to watch out for excessive shedding or sudden breakage, especially right after changing products. You might also notice persistent irritation, like weird redness or a burning sensation. Also, be on the lookout for an incredibly itchy scalp, which is usually linked to product buildup or fragrance sensitivity. Extreme dryness where the hair literally feels rough to the touch, or sudden increased frizz. That frizz happens when the hair cuticle is totally damaged and loses all its moisture. Dermatologist Dr. Shampoo completely hits the nail on the head here. As she points out, the health of your scalp is just as important as the health of your hair itself. These harsh products might not cause permanent baldness right away, but they create a hostile, excessively dry environment that indirectly, but severely, thins out your hair. You simply cannot grow healthy hair from a suffering, irritated scalp. It just doesn't work. So let's get into Section 4, the usual ingredient suspects. Here is the lineup of hidden chemicals. Let's literally name names and look at the actual formulations on the back of your bottles. First up, sulphates. They give us that super satisfying lather we talked about, but they completely strip away your natural oils and dial up the frizz. Then you have parabens. They act as preservatives for a longer shelf life, but they trigger some pretty serious long-term exposure concerns. And what about those synthetic fragrances that make your hair smell like a tropical vacation? Yeah, they are actually a leading cause of scalp redness and intense itching. Add in drying alcohols that increase brittleness, plus formaldehyde preservatives that prevent bacterial contamination but cause severe sensitivity reactions, and you basically have a perfect recipe for a suffering scalp. The everyday damage caused by these exact suspects is exactly what's fueled the massive rise of the clean beauty movement. Clean beauty focuses entirely on formulation transparency. It gives us a way to reduce our exposure to these harsh chemicals without needing a literal chemistry degree just to read the back of a shampoo bottle. It's really just a growing demand from all of us to know exactly what we are scrubbing into our scalps every single day. All right, Section 5, decoding hair product labels. Let's crack the case on your own. Next time you're shopping, you've got to play detective. Step 1. Always check the ingredient order first. The highest concentrations are listed right at the very top. Step 2. Watch out for your specific red flags, like those hidden fragrances if you know they make you itch. Step 3 is huge. Completely ignore meaningless marketing buzzwords like botanical or pure. I mean it. They do not guarantee a product is actually free from synthetic chemicals. And finally, step 4, evaluate those free from claims. Just because a bottle proudly says sulfate-free doesn't automatically mean the rest of the formula is good for you. You really have to evaluate the whole list. Finally, Section 6, building a hair-friendly routine. Let's go from investigation to proactive care. Let's build all of this into a really solid timeline of habits. Every morning, make sure you protect your hair from the sun and use gentle detangling techniques. Please, don't just aggressively rip a brush through wet hair. Weekly, make sure you are cleansing based on your scalp's actual needs and apply a nourishing hair oil before washing to protect your strands. And monthly, go get those split ends trimmed to stop breakage from traveling up the shaft and just quickly reassess your products to make sure they are still working for you. The experts highly recommend washing based on your specific scalp type, using a balanced cleanser, like the timb protein shampoo, for example. Also, turn down that hot water. Extreme temperatures hamper your scalp's pH and make it super flaky. You'll also want to nourish your roots with regular, gentle scalp massages, using a product like timb hair oil to maintain that softness. And lastly, maintain a balanced diet rich in proteins and vitamins, and definitely cut back on the heat styling frequency to preserve your hair's natural strength.
So, I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to wrap up our investigation today. Will you ever look at a pure or botanical shampoo label the same way again? It is time to stop chasing those flashy marketing trends and start reading the fine print to take real control of your hair's health. The secret to healthy hair isn't magic, it's just awareness. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and honestly, I highly encourage you to go check the bottles in your shower right now.